few weeks ago, I got an email from Ralph Lauren asking me to quote on a job. 10 quilts, each one of them 86 inches square, custom ruler quilting, a crosshatch pattern, and they needed them finished within 8 days. So I sent them a quote. And today I'm going to talk you through exactly how I got to that number, because I think it says everything about why quilters as an industry chronically underquote for their work. Hi, I'm Lindell from the Quilt Room. I'm a professional long arm quilter in Melbourne, Australia, and I quilt every day on a Bernina Q24 with Qmatic. Don't forget to subscribe if you want more videos about the real business of long arm quilting. I'll be doing heaps more. Okay, let's get into the story. So the email, it came through to me on a Wednesday. A rep from Ralph Lauren asking me if I could quilt 10 quilts, each 2.2 meters or 86 inches square, in a crosshatch pattern and have them completed and returned within 8 days. Now, before I tell you what I quoted, I want to tell you what these quilts were actually for. He called them mats. Now, this could be one of the favorite things that's ever happened to me in my 10 years of quilting. They were picnic rugs for a polo match. Ralph Lauren, one of the most recognizable luxury brands in the world, and what they needed was something for people to sit on in a paddock in the middle of winter in Australia. I love this. I love it so much. All right, let's carry on. So let's get on to how much I quoted them. My initial feeling was maybe $1,000 each. It was something I was going to have to do manually on my long arm using rulers. So after I had my first thought of $1,000, I doubled it. I quoted the Ralph Lauren rep, $2,000 each, so $20,000 for this job. Let me walk you through how I got there. Firstly, the physical work. As I mentioned, this is not computerized quilting. A crosshatch pattern with a ruler is manual work. I'm physically guiding the machine across the quilt in diagonal lines repeatedly on an 86-inch quilt 10 times over. That's a serious amount of physical labor. Long arm quilting is already hard on your body at the best of times. Ruler work at that scale under time pressure is genuinely demanding. Secondly, the time frame. 8 days, 10 quilts, each one large enough you could comfortably throw it on a queen size bed. These are not small quick jobs. Multiply that by 10 and you're looking at days of solid work. And when I say days, I mean days, nights and weekends. Not a normal working week, a sprint. Thirdly, there was the cost to my current clients. I am currently booked out about 8 weeks in advance. So in saying yes to Ralph Lauren, that means pushing all my existing clients, some of whom have been with me for 10 years, back by at least 2 weeks. Clients who've been waiting for their quilts and jobs I'd committed to. It's not just an inconvenience, that's a real cost to my business and possibly to my reputation. When you add all of that up, the physical toll, the days, the nights, the weekends I would have had to work to get them finished, and the reputational risk of time blowouts for current jobs, along with the possibility of losing future repeat clients, $20,000 starts to look a lot less like an outrageous number and far more like I was underquoting. But I want to talk about the actual biggest factor for me. I call it the resentment test. And it's the most useful thing I can offer you if you are a business owner and you struggle with pricing. The question is not what's the market rate for this job. It's not what would other people charge. The question is, if Ralph Lauren had have said yes to this job, would I have resented it? That's the whole question. If I'd quoted $500 each for the quilts, or even $1,000, my initial reaction, and they'd said yes, I know how I would have felt by day 3, day 4. I would have been furious with myself. Furious. The job would have felt impossible for that money. So I came up with a number and I thought that if they said yes to that quote, I'd feel okay about it. I wouldn't feel great because no amount of money makes working nights and weekends over a very tight deadline fun, but I'd be okay with it. Now, you're probably realizing they didn't go ahead, which frankly I'm not surprised about. Large companies sending speculative inquiries to small businesses are almost always fishing for the cheapest option. They have budgets. Pretty sure Ralph Lauren has a budget, and when a quote comes back that reflects the actual cost of skilled labour, they'll go elsewhere. That's not a failure. That's the market working exactly as it should. So the other thing I'd like to talk about here is something that really sits underneath all of this, and that's a persistent belief in the craft industry that handmade work should cost less. That because it's something made by one person in a small studio, working from their home, it somehow carries less value. And that is, of course, completely backwards. The skill, the time, the equipment, the years of practice that allow me to produce beautiful and consistent work, none of that comes cheaply. Now, the fact that Ralph Lauren, a luxury brand built on quality, did not accept my quote does not mean my quote was wrong. It means we weren't the right fit, and that's a completely acceptable outcome for me. The right clients are the ones who understand what they are paying for and who appreciate the love and care that goes into everything you produce. So why am I telling you all this? Well, I thought it was a pretty funny story, for one. But secondly, I see so many quilters, talented and skilled and experienced, quoting jobs at rates that would make a fast food worker wince, saying yes to unreasonable timelines because they're afraid to lose the job. And I do understand why. Most of us came to this business because we love it. And somewhere along the way, we started charging for our work, and the pricing never really caught up with the actual cost. So the one thing I want you to take away from this video is that resentment test. Before you send your next quote, ask yourself, if they say yes right now, am I going to resent doing this job? If the answer is yes, then it's very simple. Your quote is too low. Some clients will say no, and that's okay. The ones who say yes at your real rate are the clients worth keeping. If you want to go deeper on pricing, I actually did a whole podcast episode about it. It's episode 2 of the Longarm Quilting business show, and it's called Let's Talk About Underpricing. I'd also love to know in the comments, have you ever quoted a job and immediately regretted it? I have done this so many times, I can't even tell you. I'd love to hear if you've made the same mistake. Hope you had a bit of a chuckle over that story. Happy quilting. See you in the next one.